Hey, Phoneybeetlemaniacxs here, and welcome to Christmas Central. No, it's my computer room, and this is what you're going to have to put up with for the next month, I'm afraid. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about Puppy Turtle, because Puppy Turtle went screaming about revenge in his last video, and has sent me a link to a video which he claimed was his revenge against me. I don't know what this video is, so let's watch it together. Now, apparently this is in 6 parts. It's something to do with the moon, so I'll do my best to try and cut it down so I can respond to little individual bases, but again it depends on what's said and how much information I need to cram in. So this may be a several part mission of me doing so. However, I will try to reduce it down for all your sanities. So let's watch what he said.
Today is April 21st, 2010. Our guest is David Icke, right here on the Intel Hub.
David Icke. I've got to do a video series about David Icke. No!
The moon was not what we thought it was, and it was some kind of probably hollowed out planetoid, and inside, not on the moon, although, you know, you've only got to go on the internet to see the way NASA moon photographs have been smudged out and covered over to stop us seeing what's actually on the surface in terms of non-natural phenomena. But it's in the moon. It's in the moon. That's where it's coming from. And what happened then is suddenly I went on the internet immediately, and I...
Oh boy, David Icke. Now, for those who don't know who David Icke is, he became infamous over here in the UK for going on the Terry Wogan show and complaining he was the son of God. Now, before that, he was a footballer and an ex-BBC pundit / journalist. So he basically killed his career stone dead with that and he's become the darling of the conspiracy theorists. So if anyone ever wonders where Grown 199 gets his ideas, it's this guy, even though Grown 199 has distanced himself from some of the Looney Tunes ideas that Icke puts out. But he still holds to them. So first of all, David, no, it isn't a planetoid, it's a satellite. There's a difference. Two, it has, the reason that one side is darkened out and not smudged, as you put it here, is because the moon doesn't rotate as Earth does, so that not all of it gets lightened. This is no sort of conspiracy theory end of it, it's just simple physics. Third thing is that people have been on it. There's many people have been on it, and they've actually brought us down moon rock, so we can see that it's not man-made. It's been there for millions of years. It's basically millions of craters and crevices and things, and we've actually done scientific tests on this stuff. And they've actually released those scientific tests to the general public. Most people can see them if they go on the NASA website about what moon rock is and what it consists of. You can actually even order moon rock online. It's going to cost you a fair penny, but you can actually order some. And as somebody who is quite well off, David, you can do so. And you know what? Even further, this dismantles every bit of your theory. Is that people can look at the moon from their house and see that it's not smudged, and just see that everything I'm seeing is correct. But again, this is nothing new from somebody who like David Icke. So let's move on with video 2, because I swear I'm not going to try and make this as short as possible.
Came a book called Who Built the Moon by 2 researchers who've written other books as well, looking at the extraordinary anomalies in the moon and to the moon, and pointing out that really when you put it all together, it has to be a non-natural phenomena.
Okay, so you're saying to me that the moon is not a natural phenomenon. Okay, that would be an interesting argument if it wasn't for two things. One, I don't know who wrote this book. It could be anybody. Again, it could be yourself. It could be yourself and your dog, for all I know. I'll try and research this Who Built the Moon books, and I'll post it down below if you want to read it. But we're not the only planet with a moon in our goddamn solar system. Jupiter has moons. Saturn has moons. Near enough every planet in our solar system has a moon. Just saying. So are they the same sort of things? So you say it's not natural. How come more or less every planet has one? And there's nothing natural cause it. Tides are caused by it. Some people have tried to link it to to people's moods, but it's never been proven. I don't think that it influences your mood any more than anything else does. I think it's just it's just a coincidence. But however, I don't see how you can see it's not natural.
Who built the moon? They said the moon is bigger than it should be, apparently older than it should be, and much lighter in mass than it should be. It occupies an unlikely orbit and is so extraordinary that all existing explanations for its presence are fraught with difficulties, and none of them could be considered remotely watertight. The thing is that science has not a clue how the moon got there.
Excuse me a sec. Right, yes they do. It was called the Big Bang. That's how it got there. A gravitational pull. There is a gravitational pull which holds it there. The orbit is in sync with other gravitational force. If you looked up Newton's theory on gravity, it explains how a mass can be dumped in another planet's sphere. So if you understood something like, I don't know, physics, you'd understand how it got there. It's not much older than it should be. It is the right age. It grew with our planet. The fact that our planet developed as a planetoid to hold life, and it develops as our satellite. Now there's people who think, and I put myself in with them, that the moon is moving distance away from her because the orbit seems to be degrading. This has now again. How is this not natural? This is what gravitational pull does. And I speak as somebody who isn't a physicist. I'm speaking as somebody who isn't a scientist either. I'm just speaking to somebody who knows about gravitational pull and science.
What you see with science all the time, and I research a lot of this, so I see it constantly. A scientist will have a theory about how something is or how something happened. And then, after a while, that theory morphs into scientific fact. But then when you go back, it's a theory. And it doesn't work either.
David, for that piece of idiocy, you get a golf clap. That is the same argument creationists use when people use evolutionary theory, in that the theory is more or less a fact in science, because every theory in science is up for renewal, as in there could be new information which changes the basis of that theory. They call it a theory because the facts around it are so sound that it is a basis of a coherent theory. If it wasn't a clear theory, it would be called a hypothesis. So there's enough evidence to support that it's true. Now there may be evidence that disproves that, and they have to restart again and come up with a new theory. But again, it's like atomic theory, or I don't know, the gravity is a theory. Most of the things in science are a theory that we understand about it. The reason people use scientific fact is because there's enough evidence to support the fact that it's a fact. Like, for example, like we don't have, as creationists like to say, that many transitional fossils, but there's a reason for that. We fill in those fossils with the species we have, and we have things that we think came in between. Now there could be information which changes that, but that would not change the basis of the theory. It would just change the basis of how the theory happens. Okay, so David, fail.
For instance, they say the moon was formed when a Mars-sized type planet hit the Earth. A great chunk of the Earth broke off and it became the moon. And they call it the whack theory. But then when the science and physics of that didn't work out, they came up with the double whack theory. And that is that this Mars-type planet whacked the Earth and then came back and had another smack. It's like, oh, I'll give you one, I'll come back and give you another. And the fact is they have no idea how the moon came into existence.
Those two theories didn't hold water because, again, there was new information that came to light. As I said, the theory which I presented, which is that it was there during our inception. Now, it is possible that a meteorite or some sort of planet did cause the moon to become separate from the Earth, but there's not enough information to prove that to a scientific standard. So people just have come to this theory that it is separate from the Earth as another coherent theory. Now, I'm not saying that theory is solid either. What I'm saying is that people develop different theories is when there's not a definitive conclusion, where there may be different possibilities. It's like what killed the dinosaurs. There's different scientific theories about what caused it. All we do know is that the thing was there, came to be there at the time we've dated it to. Again, there's nothing there that suggests that it's an alien creation or anything like that.
Much work. And I said to him, not that I found all this stuff about the moon, what do you think? I simply said to him, Credo, tell me any Zulu legends about the moon. Are there any? What do they say? And he said that immediately that the legends say that the moon was brought here hundreds of generations ago by two brothers, Wawani and Mpanku. Now, these break down, of course, these are other names for what the Sumerians used to call Enlil and Enki of the non-human race they record in their ancient tablets called the Anunnaki. And he said that these two brothers, Credo, Wawani and Mpanku, were leaders of a reptilian race. They were known as the Water Brothers and had, he quotes, scaly skin like a fish. Now, Enki, in the Sumerian text, is known as associated very much with water, as a water god. And the Zulu legends say that Wawani and Mpanku stole the moon in the form of an egg from the great fire dragon. And listen to this, emptied out the yolk until it was hollow.
Oh, wow.
Just stop. Right. What? You're comparing a religion from the Middle East to one in Africa. Comparative religion doesn't work that way. Okay, your friend sounds like he's a really nice guy, but he's wrong. Okay, there are other religions which talk about the moon, which have used it for calendars and movements and God knows what else. Do they not count? I mean, gee whiz, man. And I don't denigrate on other people's religions. I really don't, because that's not really my bag. But seriously, dude. I mean, just pick up a science book about where the goddamn moon comes from. And not but who created the moon, because that sounds about as scientific as who invented my toaster. And yeah, there's a documentary about aliens creating your toaster and the iPod and a lot of other things as well. I've seen them. Just stop.